into the first match. Sami Callihan versus Rob Van Dam with Katie Forbes.
So here's where I'm at with that, and I know I want to keep the details to a minimum. So I'll start by saying the match itself was disappointing. Now, what do we expect from a near 50-year-old Rob Van Dam and a Sammy who is trying hard, but and RVD I'm sure as well. But with the booking, they had to get over as well with the distractions and the taunts. And I love Katie Forbes. That's no secret. We love RVD. The combination together, I think, are comedy gold. The problem we're getting into is the same thing with Tommy Dreamer that we've mentioned on the podcast, which is the name values there, the entrance there, the characters there. But does the win mean anything anymore since he's unfortunately a shell of himself? Still great for a 50-year-old or near 50, and I'm not taking anything away from him, but we're starting to see that. And, same goes with Shamrock. There's only so many times you can book around it unless you do a Hernandez Rhino feud like they're doing, where it's more cinematic with a cinematic ending. All for it, because I think a lot of these legends still have a lot to offer, especially with the gimmick of Katie and RVD. Love it. But the match was disappointing and maybe a little bit overbooked. I don't know what else there is to say about that. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Are we still doing thumbs downs?
Yeah. We'll do an overall thumbs up, thumbs down, I think. Make it easy that way. I wasn't that disappointed by the match because I wasn't expecting very much from it.
Fair enough.
So I can't sound that disappointed by what happened. Sammy's great, and there's no doubt he should be in the main event picture. RVD.
That seed. Josh planted the seed, which was nice.
Yeah. With RVD, I kind of like how they're mentioning the fact that he's not as agile as he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
interesting.
With this whole thing he's doing right now, he doesn't need to be. Even though, obviously, if you can call it a heel turn, first happened back Bound for Glory. Wow. So nearly a year ago. Obviously he stopped doing what the fans wanted to see from him.
Right.
Now he's bringing those things back. Yeah. So I don't know what's up with that, but
if we were to say what you're saying and then just leave it at that, it could be gimmick, right? If Josh is talking about him losing a step and he's losing all these matches. The problem is there was an interview today that was released for him saying that him and Katie aren't even on the video package in the beginning, that he doesn't care, he's not emotionally invested in Impact. He doesn't know if they see him as just a name value to get the rub. So being very genuine, I think, not in character. I think the separation is just, turned up to who he is on the show, honestly. But the problem I'm having is if he's leaving, he's leaving. It sucks. I enjoy him. I'm not saying he is. He said he could see himself there for a long time. So I get that. At the same time, he said he could see himself leaving tomorrow, essentially. So the reason I'm disappointed, and I agree with you, I'm not expecting much out of him. If I get something good, I'm pleasantly surprised. But the problem is we have too good of a roster now to give that spot to. It's just like in any sport, in hockey, in I guess football. Your football in a little bit less. There's always, or in past times, there was an enforcer, right, who was given a roster spot to kind of go in there and do what needed to be done defensively or to set the tone.
Yeah.
Then eventually the times change and you realize, okay, I could give that roster spot to someone who's just as fast, who has just as good puck or ball handling, and so on. So that's where that question comes from me. Do we like the name value in?
I think think Sammy hacked me. I see you pop. So long story short, though, what I was saying was, do you keep the guy in and give a roster spot and TV time to someone who, yes, brings name value, but doesn't bring the goods in the ring? And I think maybe this is a discussion for the podcast. But at the same time, are we going into it, the average fan, expecting a video game and seeing Sammy versus RVD and excited about what you could see? Because that is a video. I mean, they're two big names. And I said this years back when it was Foley versus Sting. Yeah, big throwback there to Lockdown. But it's cool to see them. But once that bell rings, are you getting your money's worth?
Right.
So with that being said, where do we go with RVD? I think Sammy, good he won. I'm happy about the result.
Yeah. I think with RVD now, it's a case of wait and see what he does.
Yeah.
What do you
do?
That's it. So, for the last time, we'll bunch them all together, including the match from Wrestle House. The very last time.
Yeah, Wrestle House. Mixed feelings, because part of me is excited it's over just to get back some wrestling. I think combined we had less than 30 minutes of wrestling in the show. I think actually 20 something, I think I did the math on. So I'm excited for that reason. I love Wrestle House. Once again, not hidden guilty pleasure. I enjoy it. I enjoy the look of it. I enjoy the sounds of it. I enjoy the comedy of it. And I know it was long and could have took a little more editing here and there, snippets, but that Deaners versus Triple XL match was very enjoyable and entertaining. I was very pleasantly surprised. It's the most charisma I've seen out of both, I think, or at least character understanding and charisma. So there were great points. I would give it a thumbs up altogether. But I think with it going away, I think it secretly builds buzz again, because then you're looking for Wrestle House 2. So it's a different entity that, once again, another brand, just as we talked about off the air here. You build shows, you build brands, and you see what sticks and works. And once you perfect it, maybe it comes back again. And I think it does have a chance of coming back in time.
Yeah, I agree with that. It kind of, I know a lot of fans were happy that Wrestle House has come to an end. I know it obviously had mixed feelings from everyone, or from most. But for what it was some of the most entertaining things I've seen in wrestling for a while. Impact is entertaining throughout, no matter what, but that was like a special little thing where you knew what you were getting into, and it still delivered with entertainment, and it even had a few good matches mixed in. Not many, but I agree. The Dinas and Triple XL was fantastic. Yeah. Obviously, they had to call an end to the truce at some point.
Right.
And obviously, Susie.
Right.
Perfect. And a few things popped me a little bit.
Yeah, for
inside jokes.
That was cool. Like I said, she's very Ravenish from this Teen Titans Go. It's a cartoon version of Teen Titans.
I'm very aware of Teen Titans Go.
I feel like Wrestle House was written in that style a lot, which was very dark but funny, but not too dark. And it was done well. And Steve, I think it was fair for him to end it off by saying he was actually the one that drank the beer. So it's like they had that crazy feud, and just for someone else to be the culprit was pretty funny.
Yeah, and obviously it ended with a marriage proposal. And of course, between Rosemary said yes to Johnny Bravo, so we have a wrestling wedding coming up. It's just going to be... I don't know what to describe that as.
Yeah, that's a biggest fan of Bravo getting more screen time. Doesn't mean I don't like what he gets now. I just the more I'm not excited about. It's just yeah. We'll see what happens. Usually, wrestling weddings are very exciting or chaotic. If it's done in Wrestle House fashion, I'll be very happy. Just nervous of what it could become. It could be easily become. Oh, we won't get into the negative. We'll just say, yeah, I'm excited for that ish.
Agreed. I love wrestling weddings, so and for
Would
me,
like that. Yeah, you would.
for me, Impact have always had the better wrestling weddings
Oh, that's
by
fair.
far.
I agree.
But moving on to what was scheduled as a 2-on-1, but could have potentially turned into a tag team match. Reno Scum versus Rhino, and Heath wasn't advertised, but was trying to get in the match.
He's the cameraman. You know, I'm happy for Heath to keep getting an opportunity to shine because I think what they've put him in has been he's excelled at so far. Once again, I want to know what he can do differently. So I hope once this ends that he gets the contract and that he maybe turns heel on Rhino or something and just puts himself over. I want to see Heath be a different, more serious Heath and see what he can bring to the table. But with that being said, the match is what it was. It's a handicap match with Rhino and Reno Scum. I said online, and Hernandez actually retweeted this. Yeah, he liked it too. But it would have been funny if Hernandez was like, "Damn, if Rhino loses, I lose my money, so I'm going to go help him beat Reno Scum." Like I thought that'd be a really funny take on it, a more unpredictable one. But I was okay with the Heath thing. Interesting to see Scott D'Amore. I think that's a point to mention. Come out more and more with security, 2 security guards, bigger security, not just random small guys in a group. So it seems like they're prepping something with him, which I enjoyed. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I liked it, and I especially like the cameraman thing with Heath. I liked how they used that camera to film some of it as well. I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yep.
See, obviously, I've said before in the beginning how I felt about Heath,
Right.
and how now he's almost dropping that WWE stink. To be honest, it was he came in with that. Oh, he's WWE. He's just a jobber over there. Can he do anything in Impact? I was worried it's going to be a very TNA thing, where they bring in a jobber and push him to the moon.
Aaron Rex.
Yeah, but if by the end of this it means we get Heath and Rhino as a tag team, I'm fine with that. I like them as a tag team when they were. People used to call them Beauty and the Man Beast. I hope it's not that much, but
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm not.
I hope it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an okay match. I wasn't expecting much. I'm glad that Reno Scum didn't just get jobbed up by Rhino. Glad it wasn't just a complete destruction of them.
Yeah. They protected him a little bit. I'm not a big fan of Reno Scum. I said that once they came in with GFW, and I won't go into all that. This second run here, this permanent run, I've actually enjoyed from them. I think they have characters to them. As far as a match of theirs, am I excited to look forward to a match? No, but doesn't mean they won't get better. They're good dudes. They have a good look, and I like the gimmick they're having of mercenaries, or you know what I mean. We don't have that in Impact, and quite a long time where someone gets paid to beat up, and I've always liked that gimmick. I think it serves a purpose.
Yeah, that's fair. I may have mentioned it on here, but with me and my thing of Reno Scum, I didn't see them in the beginning when they first came in, but
Okay.
I know everyone was really hot on them for some reason, but I didn't know why until I watched them. The amount of people I saw on, especially on a Facebook group, it was people really clamoring to bring Reno Scum back, and I didn't understand why. But I saw Luster then it was a GWN one night only, and I thought, okay, maybe see what he's like with Thornstone. I like it. I like their theme song. That's about all I can say.
Yeah. They got a good thing going. So I like it. That's what
Yeah, and Thornstowe, I think, is one of these who, given opportunity, he can really shine.
Yeah, I agree.
So then move on to something that would happen throughout the night. So we'll just talk about it all in one. Moose backstage, and EC3 pops up on the screen and tells Moose to come and find his TNA World Championship.
So before I make I don't want to say ignorant announce guess. Now, every guess that I've made on this show or whatever, or has been from either things I've heard or things I'm just putting together, right? Which we'll talk about later. Which I was half right, which is not where I wanted to be with that. But in regards to this, I'm gonna make the guess, the prediction that this all ends at the ROH taping. He pointed to Maryland area. EC3 is supposedly debuting for them. Moose used to be a star there. I could see something small happening there where they maybe bring the belt there and they're heels because we're TNA. So I'm not. That's going to be my whatever. But as far as what we saw, um, it's hard not to like it. And anytime, and I said this again and again with the Rhino stuff and Hernandez, anytime you can weave in other storylines and make it feel like one, not course, one cohesive. There we go. One cohesive, for lack of better terms, universe. I like it. So on top of that, you have Moose and EC3, who I think are superstars. So it just adds to it. It was fun. It's nicely done. I like the cat and mouse game, kind of reminiscent of what they did with Tessa and Sammy, but exciting nonetheless, and look forward to see where the results may or may not happen or take place, I guess.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough because obviously we make it clear every week how high we are on EC3 and everything he's doing right now, and Moose for that matter. But I am worried if it does. So obviously you pointed out that I didn't realize that he was pointing towards the Maryland area. I said I don't know. I'm awful geography, but I mean, I don't want it to go to Ring of Honor. I really don't. Yeah.
It's just
no, I get what you mean. I can see it, but obviously these tapings were filmed before the Ring of Honor tapings, so whether Moose gets it back,
yeah, maybe close to each other. I don't
know. Emergence Night 1 and Night 2, I think they were filmed separate tapings, and then straight after they filmed, they were in Nashville for about 4 days, but they're usually there for about 2.
Okay.
So
they EC3 taking the belt though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
right.
I know they've taped up all the way to Battle for Glory, as far as I'm aware.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I liked the little segments in between where Moose was asking people on the roster if they'd seen EC3. Obviously, came across the most professional wrestler and the Knockouts champion.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, the weaving of it is wonderful. Myers got his hot TV time. Let me mention that because I feel like I rag on the dude each week, and it's not him. Once again, maybe it's him. It's the lack of. I don't know if it's creative control. I don't know who what they booked or what they got him to come in on rather. I doubt he has Hulk Hogan creative control, but what I'm saying is Impact tends to be the place where artists can paint, right? So part of the deal maybe is, hey, this is the storyline I want, like EC3 did. Good Brothers, I'm sure, same thing. Yeah. So I don't know whose side it's on or where it falls or if he's just a team player. I like Brian Myers as a human being, as a personality, as a someone who's in wrestling. I just, in what we've seen so far, have not been excited. Now that I know that the most professional wrestler thing is going to be, he says that, but he's actually the most unprofessional wrestler, we have an opportunity here for this to be good. So I will point that out now that you mentioned it. But is it clicking yet? No. But can I see where it does? And someone like him can be a value just as Johnny Swinger is in different ways, but kind of same goal. Yeah, I could see that. Impact is about, I made the joke before, Impact, characters welcome, because that used to be the old USA station gimmick when WWE was on there. Characters welcome. Very much so in Impact, more than any wrestling promotion. Are you getting people with, hey, that's his character. I get who he is. I get who he is. We just haven't had that click yet for Brian Myers. So I'm hoping more things like this help him. I know we said shorter show, but come on, man. We talk too much. Especially me. But yeah, for just to wrap it up for the sake of that, yeah, I don't know if it ends in ROH. Maybe it doesn't. But the fact that he pointed to that area of the map and said, I know where he is, I would assume it has some place that has a meaning, right? So that's the only way I assume, or why I said the way, what I said. So.
Yeah, I'm just dreading how it could end if it does end up in Ring of Honor.
I might be half right. It might be the studio in Maryland, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. So then, I just want to quickly mention, it doesn't need a review necessarily, but the Good Brothers little backstage thing, it's brilliant, made me laugh. I love seeing the Good Brothers on TV. Okay. Funny little story, kind of like a podcast, but
I don't know if it's me. I didn't get the story. I kind of something about you snoring at a bar or something. It was just kind of all. I do like the Uncle Alan reference. I once again don't understand why the Rascals, even though Des was a little more cold to them, why they aren't upset still. That acknowledging, even if you think it's just thrown out of the ring. These guys were thrown out of the ring like punks by the Good Brothers, and no one's mentioning it. Collateral damage, I suppose. But yeah, anything they're in is enjoyable. It got a rise out of you. I think anytime you put them telling stories or where they're just on screen, who gives a shit? It's good. Reference, 2 thumbs up for that. But interesting booking with the Rascals. I'm excited. Well, I guess we'll get to that.
When that happened, my mind went to you and wondered how you react to that. Because I know you made it clear how you feel on that one.
Just don't get it. Continuity, people.
Yeah, I can relate to that. So then, speaking of the Rascals, they had a tag team match against Ace and Fulton.
Yeah.
I was slightly worried that they were just going to replay their match from Explosion.
Oh, I never saw.
2 or 3 weeks ago on Explosion. I was
I'll be,
before
I'll be
Emergence.
on interest of honesty. I don't watch Explosion until like long time later. So like long. I binge watch them later. But did they have a match, the same match, like them two or four?
I
Excuse me.
I didn't see Explosion either. I just know
Oh,
they
okay.
had a match just before Emergence.
Okay.
But I was just worried they were going to replay that match.
Oh, I see. You're saying to actually use the same footage.
Yeah. I just had I don't know why I just had this feeling in the back of my mind.
Well, what I like about Explosion, I know this is totally off subject, but I have to get this out of the way not to make sense. I do watch Explosion. The point is exactly for that, because Explosion tends to be what a house show would be, which doesn't mean it's a bad product. It just means they're getting these guys a chance to wrestle out their ring rust or whatever it may be and get some familiarity with each other before they put it on the show. So you do get a lot of repeat matches or matchups. Let me say that. They're never the same match, move for move, but so I do want to mention that. But as a match a whole, once again, surprised ending. I was very shocked. I said that live on with my tweets. Very happy that they went backstage, were kind of serious, and then brought it to the ring and won, especially against a team that's, I would say, main eventers. Now, I saw they got more matching gear, still shitty, but the Rascals are. It looks like they're maybe finally getting the rub that they need. Do they need to have it in a 4.5-minute match? No, man. Like, these are things the Rascals should win a big time match, and that should be a turning point for them, And then the Guns came out, and then you realize that the Rascals just won this match only so they could say they beat a top team, so Machine Guns will offer them a match. So I imagine we're doing the Eddie treatment with the Motor City Machine Guns, which is feed him opponents that we build up for a hot second or give them a shot, and then he beats them and we move on, just to build up some of that credibility to the title, the championship reign. I hope that's not the case, but do I want the Rascals to win the titles? No, I do not. Because I feel like that would be a hot shot storyline. They won, not happy in the lot of time. If they just got a couple more minutes, few more minutes to make it look like they were the underdogs, I'd be excited by that. But fun match, good match. You can't take anything away from that, right?
Yeah, match was great. I mean, arguably for the best, and it's a lot considering the amount of people on this roster. Arguably for the best wrestlers, and more. Well, Ace, Dez and Wentz for their athletic capabilities, and Ace and Fulton, because Ace is a fantastic heel, and Fulton is. I said this when he first joined, that he can, given the right treatment, he can be one of the best big men that in Impact history.
I agree with that.
But it's all about the treatment. But as for the appearance by the Guns, when they came out, I didn't want them to offer them a title shot then. I want the Rascals to be tag team champions, but that's their first win, proper win since. I mean, I haven't seen them win in a long time. Even at Slammiversary, they lost. So I haven't seen them win since before Slammiversary. I can't remember whether he won.
Right? They picked up a win somewhere in between on Impact, maybe against Triple XL or TJP and the Rascals. TJP and Fala versus the Rascals. They won there. That was the most recent.
Yeah, I think when that was then, because we've seen that so many times.
Yeah. But that was also one out of how many months? It's been a long time.
Yeah, that's very true. When the Guns came out and they offered them a title shot for next week, I said, no way in hell are the Rascals beating the Guns for the titles.
Okay.
You can't do that, especially we'll get to talk more later, but especially with the world title, how that went about.
Right.
You can't do that again.
My intuition is that Motor City will retain, but we're going to see a change in the Rascals maybe during the match or after. I don't feel a championship reign is going to be just given to them, especially dethroning Motor City Machine Guns, who returned after such a long time. It's different with Eddie. He's a veteran there. He is the franchise. He's Sting of Impact. He really is. Not Sting of Impact, but Sting of WCW. You know what I mean? He's the guy that is there. He's the heart, or the Tommy Dreamer of ECW. So he doesn't need the title. The title needs him when it needs him. And he had it. They built him up as a fighting champion because that's what you do with Eddie. He's a fighting champion. He loses. He has good matches with everybody, and then we move on. We'll get to that later, but the Motor City's different. Motor City was returning. Motor City was, the fact that they beat the North was huge. I don't think you throw it away on an episode of Impact, at least not right now. I think they need more victories under their belt, so when they do get to Bound for Glory, if that's the time frame or not, that they could lose them then, which I hope they don't either. But it's inevitable. Alex Shelley's a free agent. We don't know what Saban's timeline is as far as health and not death, but if he wants to how much he wants to wrestle. So I don't see it happening, but good for the Rascals. Intrigued on where it goes.
Yeah, love the Rascals. Just they haven't won enough to warrant being tag team champions yet.
I agree.
So then, a lot happened in this segment. Deonna Purrazzo's Celebration Black Tie Affair.
Okay. So let me start by saying I was not excited for that when it was announced. Black Tie Affair, okay, I like the potential of it being something that sets up her next opponent. That's all it really that I thought going into it, right? Then I saw her critique people, how they looked for going or not going or weren't allowed to go. And I saw her interaction with Kimberly. And I'm like, okay. Then Kim goes out there and does her thing and gives her time. And then Deonna comes out looking amazing and does her thing. Our girl Kiera and Tasha on the outside being funny, and the Rascals are being humorous, and you got all these, other things going on. I'm like, okay, I'm locked in. I'm excited. I'm intrigued. Then Jordan is first to come out, I believe. Who herself looks the part and looked wonderful, and it just how they used and utilized everyone and showcased everyone was very good. Because that's when I was sold. I was like, Jordan's out here. Okay, more is going to happen. I just feel it. She's not going to get her title shot and whatever.
No.
Then we have, who's a Wrestle House next?
No.
Tenille.
Okay.
Tenille comes out, and say what you will about Tenille. I like her as a heel. Her on the mic is still wet paint, drying to me. But yeah, the idea that they had, Impact had, and to have this happen, the layers of it, how they booked it, was intriguing still. Say what you will about her. So then she comes out, and then of course Wrestle House comes back to the ring all at the same time, and then you have about 75% of the Impact roster out there together. As a segment that had nothing to do with wrestling besides maybe setting up a number one contendership, even though Kylie does have it, it was damn entertaining. And that is the kind of non-wrestling moments that wrestling needs that I think we're missing from today. It's not, it doesn't have to be outrageous, doesn't have to be cinematic, but it could be smart like that and give everyone the rub, and once again, weaving storylines. So I like it. But let's hear Mr. Impact Blog's take. Feels slightly different, Greg. It feels slightly different. Keep plugging this.
So I like the segment. Thought just quickly with the Donna's promo, where she said Michelangelo, Donatello, and you kind of Perazzo to that. I was obviously in the back of my mind went to Ninja Turtles. I thought I wanted the Rascals to make a little thing when she mentioned Donatello and Michelangelo. I wanted the Rascals to make a little thing, but then Tennille came out. Oh dear.
You like? Well, let's stop. You like Jordan coming out? You enjoyed that?
I was. I was like when she came out. I was thinking, no, leave it. You've had your chance. It's done. Move on.
Wow.
But,
okay.
Yeah, not in a bad way, but I didn't want. It didn't need to carry on. She lost the match.
Oh, Jordan. Excuse me. I thought you were talking about Tennille.
Okay. With Tennille, I don't care. I really don't care. I understand that she lives on the other side of the world. I understand that. But she, to me and to a few other people, it seems, she doesn't particularly care about Impact. She doesn't plug them. She doesn't have them in a bio. And she's been there so nearly a year. Oh, yeah, about a year now.
Right.
And in that year, she's looking to get 2 title shots when there's people on the roster who haven't had a single one.
That's fair.
I don't want to go too long on this, but she, to me, she could have been something.
Okay.
When they announced that she's coming in, it was cool because she was kind of hot on the independent scene.
It was
And in Ring of Honor, obviously she did okay there and got people talking about her again. But she's made it very clear she would go back to WWE if they offered.
Right.
And so it's like with Brian Myers. She's seeing Impact as just a place to get back into WWE.
Rest her head. Yeah, I think that's a topic for the podcast per se, because it is that, that double-edged sword, just like I blabbed on about with the Rhino and veteran, or RVD and veterans and not. But it's hard for me to agree in the sense that the booking of her since the get-go has been pretty shit. Now, is that because of outside situations? Was it she had ring rust? Was it injury? Was it visa? Was it COVID? Every time she got her foot in the door, it felt like it went, south. So I imagine she has also more dates on her contract. I'm a very big advocate for the people being in Impact to represent Impact. And to your credit, she does not. She retweets some things and stuff of that nature. But at the same time, I want to go off air and for us to go to each Impact person on the roster, wrestler on the roster, and actually see who's in the bio, who has it in their bio. Because if you go from that assumption, if both of us say, oh, I hate anyone who doesn't, Ethan Page doesn't. Jordan, I don't believe, does. So there's a lot of people that we do like that don't rep either. With that being said, do I feel like she's in that Brian Cage status of, or what I felt like Ethan was prior of, oh yeah, I love AEW or WWE because everyone else is cooler with that. Am I just waiting for an opportunity there? I could see that mentality. The problem is we don't know her mentality. I don't know her. You would know Australian, what do you call it, more than I, as far as temperament, right? Because over here, we would just say, she was get the shit end of stick and maybe she's, just it's something lost in translation. I don't know. So maybe you would have a better thing. I just feel like if we're gonna hate on her, we would have to hate on a lot of people.
Well, the bio thing doesn't bother me as much. It's mainly the fact that she doesn't mention Impact.
See, I don't follow. No.
I mean, she kind of teased that I think happened between her and Diana over Twitter. But I'll put it this way: if Kylie Rae doesn't get the knockouts match at Bound for Glory, I'll be pissed. If Tenille gets that match at Bound for Glory over Kylie, I don't why Diana hasn't. Tenille hasn't been there. She should be Victory Road.
So you're in that old TNA mindset of stop bringing people in just to move other people aside. Okay, I feel you there. We'll see, but we don't know the length of her contract or how committed she actually is. Let's say that as a disclaimer first.
Yeah. Oh, she's there. I'm pretty sure she's there until Bound for Glory at least, because these tapings. Tenille's probably there till Bound for Glory at least. Oh, technical difficulties.
Back.
Okay. Okay.
What do we got left here? When this thing shuts down.
I thought you just staring at me, really confused. So then, let's go straight to the main event before anything else happens. Eddie Edwards is no longer Impact Wrestling World Champion. That now goes to Eric Young.
Look, wrestling can be as original as it wants to be, but everything has been done. Okay, the simple A plus B equals C. What is that called? Formula does not change with wrestling, no matter what company you're in. If a wrestler continuously wins on a weekly basis to build up his credentials, they're going to play out the storyline of that person's body eventually got tired, but his will was still there. So what you're doing is you're giving that person respect as they're a transitional champion. The other thing that will always happen as well is if a wrestler is on the pay-per-view commercial, there's a damn good chance that they will have a big part. So I would assume, since that was released before that, those two things, A plus B equals new champion. Now, the part that I insinuated or guessed upon and added myself was the fact that changed the formula was the Team Canada thing. It didn't happen. We got more Scott D'Amore getting involved. We got more flashbacks of Christian Cage and different Canadians. So we're getting there, or they're teasing it very intelligently, or it actually means something. So that day can come. Now that I saw the EC3 thing stuff and think maybe a little bit ROH, maybe the world is theirs, and the world, maybe we're going to get an interpromotional New Japan ROH speculation. Don't think it happens. I'm just saying that's where my conspiracy theory mind goes. With that being said, it was a very good match for that 14 minutes of time. I can't wait to see if they get more time at the Victory Road. I think he gets his rematch or something, I heard. So I think Eric keeps it all the way to Bound for Glory, if not past. I also knew you got to figure Eric Young, as soon as he got released, did not cry, that's no offense to Drake Maverick, but he didn't whine, he didn't do anything. He just put out a tweet that said, now I could go right this wrong, or whatever he said. I forgot how he worded it, but that was what it was. That wrong to me was not about leaving TNA. It was about his only championship reign here. And that championship reign was a John Gaburick piece of shit that was it John? Yeah, I think it was John at the time, who hotshotted him in there because he had a beard and some hair like Daniel Bryan. Let's not mistake that. They stole the storyline. They stole the same way. They stole the guy's look. Not that Eric Young didn't have it before. Eric Young is on a different level than Daniel Bryan, not in the sense of main event or that status, but two different people with two different sets of talent, and both good, both great. But Eric Young was shafted in the sense that he finally found himself and who he wanted to be after that championship reign, right? Or towards the tail end, I can't remember. My memory's a little foggy. But this is him righting his wrong. So typically, where if you told me Eric Young was coming in, winning the championship within 2 months, not even, of being back at Impact, would I be upset? Yes. Am I sad to see Eddie lose? Yes. But am I happy this version of Eric Young will get to put his mark on the history books? Yes. So it sucks that Eddie lost so soon. It sucks that it was on an episode of Impact. His body should have kept breaking down a little bit more. But we're here, and I'm excited to see what it brings. And we're dealing with the cards that were dealt, make the best of them. I'm excited to see this version of Eric Young as champion. We'll see where it goes. Huh.
Yes, I agree with the fact that EY is pretty much the face of Bound for Glory this year. It would just make sense to make him the champion. I understand why Eddie wasn't going to be champion for very long. It's just
Right.
I know it was just to make people think. To give Impact a bit of a PR thing, like make someone who they trust and they know who isn't going to screw them over be the face for a little bit. So yeah, make the fans trust Impact again with the world title.
Yes.
But this soon, I don't necessarily agree with it. But like I said, it's happened. It's all about what happens next, I suppose. I'm hoping what happens next, but again, I've got a feeling it's too soon for it to change hands again.
Right.
But obviously, I predicted EY versus Swan at Bound for Glory, and now it'll probably be for the Impact World Championship.
Yeah.
I would want to see Rich Swann as world champion, but it's hot shot in the title again. It's too soon for him to change hands again.
Now, let's be fair. If the build-up to Rich Swann isn't just he comes out and wins at Bound for Glory, and we have 2 months to build a deep feud with them two, if that is the direction we're going, which I feel like they believe Rich Swann can be a champion. So this would be I guess hot shot. Yeah, it is but he's won the X Division title. He's been a prominent member. He just needs that next step. He's someone that needs the belt more than the belt needs him. So I think in that regards, you're right. But let me say this: there was a leaked, rumored card for Bound for Glory out there, which had Eddie Edwards and Shamrock for the title. So let me just say that this, if it is Eric versus Rich, is better, insanely amount better than what we would have got with that. Yeah. So in that regards, it took a weight off my chest. Eric Young can go, Rich can go. The storyline is already there. If they build it even more, I'm excited for it. But does that sell me a ticket? Does that sell me a pay-per-view purchase for me and you? Two guys who watch regularly, yes. But does it get the outside group excited about it? And I think that's what Bound for Glory needs to be. Seeing Slammiversary was big itself. We need a continued upward trend. So
yeah,
see how people think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Bound for Glory, they've got the right tagline. that's the tagline is pretty intriguing as to what's gonna happen next. But they have massive shoes to fill for after Slammiversary.
Correct.
Who knows what happens, but we're on the road to Bound for Glory. So
yeah, if anything, this episode wasn't a complete thumbs up for me. Had a lot of good points, and it is build up to Bound for Glory, and I'm excited to now see what this set of tapings brought for that, where it goes, because the one benefit of this episode is that I can't tell you what I predict the card to be. We can say we think Rich and EY, but who knows what happens before then, because what Impact has been able to do during this COVID era is realize that they have an opportunity to be spontaneous for the first time in a very long time. So for better or worse, we're going to see that, and we'll see where it goes. But in the middle for me this week.
yeah, after slightly down.
No,
It's almost middle, but
I understand.
I World title match didn't really do much for me. It was a surprise, but I thought the match could have been a lot better. Maybe it was. Maybe I just didn't appreciate it for what it was. But
it was better than average. But do I feel like, and that's the one thing I did want to hit back on. Slammiversary was great, and we have a lot of expectations, and they have a lot of shoes to fill to be better than Slammiversary. But I think what can happen with this, with Bound for Glory, is as much as I love the crew that was at Slammiversary, we now get to see the crew who arrived at Slammiversary. So that means it's going to be a very good wrestling card, not just a very good show. And the opportunity for the Good Brothers, who are great workers, to put on matches, for Rich to be back and add to that, to Eric, to EC3, to Motor City, to all these guys be a little more comfortable there and ready to go. I think Bound for Glory can be bigger. But we'll see what happens.
I agree. Bound for Glory is going to be. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do.
Yeah, agree.
I think we need to do an early Bound for Glory match prediction show. What matches do you think are going to be on there?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see that.
Okay, I like that. Let's do that before anything develops. So like maybe next week. Okay.
Yeah, next week. Okay. So that was what went down, and that was Impact Wrestling for another week. It was interesting, some surprises, but let us know what you thought in the comments, or just tweet us at TNIW Podcast and give us your thoughts. Obviously, you have the power rankings coming up straight after this, so stick around for those. And also, as you can see, Jeff still has the full game from this old wrestling shit. And obviously, stay tuned for this week's code word, this code word, and shoot us a DM straight away once you see that code word to get your.
So I want to really clarify that really quick. So that we are in past double digits, not past double digits. We're in double digits of views for that episode, which is wonderful. Where it's growing, it's a new entity, so that's not. Please watch it, of course. But we only have one person who DM'd us the code word. What that means, guys, is literally if we stopped now at the end of the month, he would automatically win the crate. So all it is as simple as DMing us a code word that we put at the end. It'll be very visible, just as it will be here. DM us that, comment it to us if you don't care other people doing it, whatever, who cares? So go and see it, go and view it, do that. Gives you an incentive to watch, us an incentive to give some people joy with some random crap, and it's a good time. So, and right. Keep tweeting. You guys are doing phenomenal interacting with the both of us on Twitter. Yeah. And thank you to the wrestling team and interacting with us as well. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been insane for the interaction, so we really do appreciate it. So that was what went down. We'll be back next week for the same, hopefully not too similar from this week's show.
No,
but who knows?
we'll have the booking, the Bound for Glory booking at least, to keep us interested.
Yes, of a few little matches that we think could happen. So I'll say goodbye and see you next week.
All right, guys, I'll see you on the Talking Nonsense but Impact Wrestling podcast, episode 21, this Sunday. So
See you all next week.
bye, guys.